Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap on the Boom and Bust channel, Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today we're recapping our matchup against the Lions. Pretty excited, really cold, but ain't got money for heat and all that stuff. But anyway, so I was actually really excited. I was hyped. I love our division games. I get so competitive. I want to destroy the teams, especially the Lions and Packers. Those are the two for me. But, and it looked like for a while this was going to be a pretty good blowout and we were going to, cruise through, and I was going to kind of talk about how good we did, and that was it. Unfortunately, we end up winning by 12, and it's just, yeah, we got some things to talk about. Now, this is where I lose some people. That's fine. I get it. Me personally, I like to evaluate and talk about the things we could get better at looking forward, looking towards the ultimate goal. Not just this week, not just next week, not just the division, but the ultimate goal. What can we improve to get over those humps? And some people love optimism. Some people want to lay in a bed of optimism and make an optimism snow angel. I don't know. That's fine. That's just not who I am. I mean, I could acknowledge the positive things, but I'm also got my eyes looking forward all the way down. And as the division leaders, as a first year team under Nagy, you gotta feel like we're going forward with this thing. And it's not just about winning games. Now we're talking about playoffs and going towards a championship push. Not saying this year we're going to win, but if we want to become champs, we have to talk about these things. And I mean, the fans don't, but the team has to look at these things, and that's the type of stuff I talk about. So while I acknowledge a good win, a division win, beating the Lions, they won 9 out of the last 10 times we played them. It feels good to win. I'm acknowledging all that, but going forward still, we got some stuff to talk about. It's just what it is. So let's start, just kind of an overall game. Like I was saying, the overall game was us coming out, really taking advantage of a bad secondary and putting on a pretty good aerial show to move the ball down the field, score some points, and defense staying tough like they usually do. We got a nice sized lead and we started to kind of run away. Second half, we started to coast a little bit on defense, and eventually the Lions started inching their way back. It never felt like they actually were in this game, but as you can look at the total, it just started to get a little too sloppy towards the end. And so that's kind of what the game was. Now going to the defense. We've been talking about pass rush all year. I've been talking about pass rush all year. And Khalil Mack returned after I think it's about 2 weeks he missed. And so I still feel like, even though Khalil Mack's a freak still, he's not 100%. I could tell his burst isn't there. His motor isn't exactly there. Not saying that he's lazy, but it's just not what it is at top speed. And so with that being said, our pass rush is still pretty pedestrian. I would say out of all the sacks we had, only one I would say wasn't a coverage sack, because that was the first one by Bryce Callahan where it was a very early, and I might have been the first drive. He blitzed off the edge and Aaron Lynch pinned inside, and so the tackle and the receiver kind of folded inside on him, and Bryce came wide open off the edge. So we got that nice blitz, and that was instant pressure. Other than that, it was pretty much coverage sacks. And while the corners got picked on in the second half, we got to give them compliments. In the first half, they were holding up and really giving us time to, make it to the quarterback, because once again, Aaron Lynch, Leonard Floyd, even to the point of Akeem Hicks, like none of them are instant pressure guys. They're not winning right off the snap. Akeem Hicks will flash once in a while, but for the most part, nobody outside of Khalil Mack can win off the snap like that. And so, or consistently, I should say. And so again, once Khalil Mack's not 100% or if he's out, we stagnate a lot. We get stalemated in blitz or in a pass rush. And Khalil Mack's one of those guys. And I was saying this while I was watching. I'm like, he's probably the only guy that when he gets blocked, he can still get pressure. Like you've seen a couple of his sacks is while he's getting blocked because he knows how to still move the pocket and work towards the quarterback. And on the opposite, you got a guy like Aaron Lynch who is, if he's blocked, he's blocked. You know, it's game over. And so that still worries me. You know, for whatever reason, I think the Lions have a decent receiving core. Losing Golden or giving away Golden Tate makes it a different story, but I still think they got a good receiving core. So for whatever reason, we were able to play really good tight coverage early on and get some coverage sacks. But when we're talking about, you know, the Saints and the Rams and the Packers of the world, that's not going to get it done. They're not going to have that much time that they were giving Stafford today. With that much time, any of the quarterbacks on those teams are going to carve us up. So, and we get to play the Rams, and of course we play the Packers. So we'll see. But I would say going into the playoffs or even in the regular season, that type of pass rush we had today would not cut it. Would absolutely not cut it. And then again, going to the secondary, I think, they did a really solid job. We played kind of our type of football, tight man-to-man coverage, which, you know, typically forces a lot of 50-50 balls or deep shots. And with, Galladay and, Marvin Jones, those bigger body receivers, that's kind of what they want to go into the 50-50 game. But that's why it's called a 50-50 game, because, you know, at times they start getting completions and they start moving, especially in the second half. But there's a lot of times where we forced incomplete passes. So our corners will take that all day, even though they got picked on a little bit in the second half. I just think they are who they are. I mean, I think Amukamara and Fuller, I just really think that they're those press sticky type corners, and they're going to try to keep it all in front. You could test them deep, and that's more times than not when you can get them. But if you're going to play anything short to intermediate, you know, that's our type of football. So there you go. The linebackers, Roquan's pretty good, man. I mean, I think they mentioned his stats, but even without seeing the stats, I'm just like, I know his range and coverage has been good, and he's been getting a little better each time, but yeah, just his speed and, his instincts in the open field, I think are really showing up. There's still the issue of him and Trevathan getting off blocks. Like you can tell if it's some type of draw or some coming up the middle where the linemen get on the linebackers, it's usually lights out. But other than that, I think Roquan has been playing some really solid ball. Again, at that position and on our defense, I don't think he's ever going to like impact the game the way you would want a top 5 pick or something to do. But I think he's going to be a real good starter. So there you go. And Eddie Jackson, man, I continue to say it each week, really impresses me. Just kind of the transformation he's had this year. So, but overall, getting the turnovers, you know, I like the mentality we have. I'm seeing a mentality that we haven't had since the Urlacher days. And last year, one of the things I complained most about was the fact we weren't getting turnovers. Like stopping people, forcing them to punt is one thing, but you know, getting takeaways and giving the offense a short field or scoring points even better, you know, that's a different story. And I think we're taking that step this year as we are another year in the Fangio defense. And then you do have Khalil Mack, which changes things a bit. I do think we're taking that step just in the mentality. And you see people rallying to the ball. You see people attacking the ball each time. And you see the corners taking gambles on some of these passes. So I just think not so much we got a new skill set. I just think we have a different mentality, which I really enjoy. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to talk about the defense. So overall, I mean, we did really well. I really don't like how we let up at the end. The defense seemed to be cruising and coasting a lot more than the offense, and we shouldn't let it creep up as close as it did. So for that, I'm gonna give it a B plus for the day. Offensively, just as I mentioned, I thought they did a good job keeping their foot on the pedal, and not just in play calling, but in demeanor. Like, you know, whether it's just we want to pad our stats or whatever, I feel like they had a better foot on the throat mentality than the defense did. And so, you know, kudos for that. However, I will say Trubisky, while he was completing passes, and really the simple passes is what it is. Like, there's some times in the first few drives where he really got bailed out. Even on that Allen Robinson touchdown, where it was just so behind or underthrown, and that was not a back shoulder. I don't care what nobody says. That wasn't no back shoulder pass. It was just an underthrown pass. But that one, and then Cohen, it was a low one on a slant that he caught. You know, things of that nature. The slant to Robinson and the wide open Anthony Miller, stuff like that. The easy throws. Those are the ones we need. Like, in the past in this season, there's sometimes Trubisky misses those. Those were sometimes in the second half he missed those. But when he makes those easy passes and keep us on schedule, we saw in the first half what this offense could do. We started off first series going no huddle, up tempo, and you could see it really threw the Lions off balance. And I haven't seen that this year. I tweeted that out, that, you know, even though we pick up the pace sometimes and whatever, I haven't seen us really put a defense off balance until today with our tempo. And we didn't really do it that much after that series, but it was nice to see us be able to execute that. That was nice. But again, there was, I want to say, who was that? Oh, when he threw the pass, it was one play where Trubisky, kind of scrambled out the pocket, reset, and then threw a bullet to Broniker, and Broniker had to jump over the defender's back to catch it. And to me, I'm just like, it was a scramble drill, so Broniker rolled around and started running, and it's like, you're supposed to put that over his shoulder. There was nobody in front of him. The defender was trailing him. And I'm not saying give it a perfect dime touch because, you know, you have pressure in your face, but I'm saying just your decision making. And this is why I talk about accuracy versus decision making. The decision to throw a bullet rather than lobbing it up, those are the things that worry me about Trubisky. And it's not that he's a bad quarterback. I think he's a serviceable quarterback. But my question about him ever making that leap comes in those type of moments when you have to just make the smart decisions. So while somebody's coming in your face, or that's not bad, while there's pressure in your face, you could still put the ball up, you know, with some air under it and try to get it over the shoulder so that at least he's running in the open space. Instead of trying to throw a bullet when the defender's there and you putting it at his back. So Broniker had to make a ridiculous catch, you know, to get a completion. And then later on, Taylor Gabriel had a receiver, or had the D-back beat down the field into the end zone. And instead of throwing it over his left shoulder where there was nobody there, he threw it over the right shoulder where the defender was and tried to, you know, throw it in the back of the end zone, and the defender made the play. Had he put it over the left shoulder, there was open space for, you know, Gabriel to make that catch. So it's things like that that I wonder about. And, you know, knowing when to just kill the play, when to throw it away, when not to take a sack, when not to back up in the pocket. And, you know, it's the small quarterback things that I'm still waiting to see Trubisky get better at. And if he doesn't get better at, I don't think he ever takes the step from serviceable quarterback to a winning quarterback. Other side of it is that our offense, our run game did not look good today. Coming in against the Lions, you could say, I would have said, yeah, secondary, that's going to be their weakness. That's what we want to attack them. I mean, Darius Slay is out, but even with Darius Slay, historically, their secondary hasn't been like amazing. Darius Slay helps out a lot if, they could lock up one guy, but even still, their secondary has holes. They're not always the fastest. You can kind of pick on them. Their front, that's where their strength is. Even without the Ndamukong Suh, Haloti Ngata, who they had in the years past, you got Snacks Harris, you got Deshaun Hand, then you still got Ziggy Ansah. Now you got Jared Davis at linebacker. It's a lot of speed and it's a lot of strength within that front. So if I had to guess, that's what I would have said. We got to attack them through the air. So it's not, a shock that we did better passing and running. However, as we talk about our offense lacking power, our offensive line, this goes again to show when we get teams with stout fronts, that's going to be an issue. And while we can do the perimeter stuff with Cohen, we can do the screen stuff and all the misdirection, I feel like at some point we have to have power. And Jordan Howard's still good at it. I still think Jordan Howard's still a great power back. I just wonder if our offensive line can complement that. And if you notice today, Kush didn't start. Kush was dressed, but number 78, I keep forgetting his name. He started. So again, like I talked about Kush kind of rotating. I was thinking it was helped, but I guess maybe it's just they don't trust him and they wanted to see if he's, better. And so they kept giving other people snaps. And it looks like, James Daniels plus 78, they all passed him up on the depth chart. So there we go with that. But even still, he's 6'7" again. Bigger guy, not a lot of leverage. James Daniels, pretty good at power, still learning, still better at zone. The rest of our line, they're just better at movement blocks. We're not good at power, so I just wonder how that's going to affect us. Overall, though, the offense, I think, did a really good job, minus the run game, so I give them A minus. And then lastly, special teams. Holy Jesus. Cody Parkey. And I feel bad, man. Like, that's crazy that you hit it like 4 times. I know there's a lot of people online that's calling for his head. I don't know, man. I don't get super involved with kickers. I know that the importance of them, but to sit here and say cut them, usually when teams like, oh, he sucked, we got to cut him, they end up signing somebody that sucked with another team or had, a bad experience, whatever, and they can come and do well. And it's just like, okay, well, Cody Parkey could go somewhere and do well. Kickers, they have bad stretches like everybody else, except everybody wants to fire kickers when they have bad stretches. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. If the Bears cut bait or if they continue with them, makes me know never mind. I mean, as long as whoever we have kicking is ready and prepared during the playoffs, then I'll be okay. So, but yeah, the onside thing with Anthony Miller, I love A-Bomb. A-Bomb was killing it today. I'm like, man, don't doubt my man A-Bomb. I told y'all he's going to be good. The batting thing, wishy-washy call. It is illegal, but he wasn't trying to bat it forward. But then when they did the onside kick again to the exact same spot, I have no clue what Anthony Miller was doing. He ran out the way and nobody even chased the kick. So that upset me. Our special teams did look a little sloppy today. Minus Tariq Cohen, who is a great runner. So anyway, that's it for me. Going forward, Vikings, again, I already said I think that we will split with Detroit because I think Detroit's going to play a lot better at home. And then Vikings, I think they win that one, but yeah, their front's good too. And that secondary is probably a little more cohesive than Detroit. So I think we're going to have a tougher time offensively, but I still think we could put up points with them. I think the offensive line isn't great, but I still don't think we're going to get a lot of pressure. So I think it's going to be a tight game. I really do. I think it'll be a tight game. Definitely a winnable game by the Bears. So I look for us to try to get the run game going. If not, it'll be a lot of misdirection early on because they're an aggressive defense. So the screen game is probably going to be big. They want to get those guys upfield and then hit them behind them with the screens. And, if the running game doesn't work early on, right up the middle, then I think that's when we're going to try to stretch to the perimeter and, put the ball in the air. The only problem is the pass rush they got. So, should be interesting, but I think it's a winnable game. So anyway, go to the comment section. Let me know what you thought about the game today. Share it around, get the convo started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.